Okay, so each day, Fnatic has shown greater strength. They're powering up as the week goes on, and I'm afraid of what today might look like, especially for TSM going into this one as the 4th seed.
Yep, TSM starting on the T side. Fnatic won the knife and they chose to defend, although I don't know if Fnatic have been defending at any point this week. It's mostly been aggression from them. We'll see if it continues here, but first comes the pistol round. And again, we saw a difference from Fnatic last time they played Cash this week. I mean, you can often find Olofmeister walking through mid, but indeed he's going over towards the B-bomb site on this occasion with Crims in tow. And that is where the bomb is headed at for the time being, but it's left in a passive position. And indeed, that signature aggression from Olofmeister. He wants the information, and he's found it straight in his jaw. Automatic going to finish him off. What is the play though? The bomb's been spotted. Now Dennis has got the bomb in an awkward situation, but Dennis has nowhere to hide really. A running headshot there into Automatic, takes Cadian down as well. And that bomb is in a very tricky situation.
Yeah, that's a nice way to secure safety by taking down 2 players as he runs into a better position. He has a lot of information for his team as well. So, and he's also got a great prediction there on the boost up onto the red container. So he can hear the jumping and the footsteps. So right now, Dennis is telling his team everything that's going on. And the reaction from Fnatic is just to hold the perimeter, make sure that they can contain TSM and force them out of those potentially what could be dangerous spots here as they have those first choke points. We can see there's 2 players towards A main at the moment. If TSM were to boost into mid as well, that's something that will be spotted by Flusher. And here it is. He's going to have the advantage on the range with the USP. So TSM have already lost 2 players, so they're in a lot of trouble in that sense. They lose any more players before they get to a bomb plant, they likely won't win the round.
Yep, they're trying to go for it now. JW holding down mainly for the time being. FNS being taken care of. Last 2 players in the middle area now. Flusher coming in from the back. Going to get traded though. Semphis versus 2. There is opportunity here. Nobody in the B bomb site at the moment, and that's where he will be headed. So TSM looking good to get a bomb plant down. Worst case scenario. It's going to have to be a defensive plant as he has nobody to cover any angles. He is on his own. Now we have Crossfire coming in slowly but surely for Fnatic. Semphis will want to try and get himself a 1 versus 1, so he may start to peek repeatedly here. Sees Crims jump down, and now Fnatic are moving in. JW just holding the angle there. Semphis looks, Semphis gets taken down. So far, so good for Fnatic. But again, great play from Dennis. Running headshots there, boom. Obviously, he can cancel his movement with a quick left click on his keyboard. But that second one just looked like a smooth movement and a headshot while he was running. Either way, Dennis up to his old tricks. I'm a big fan of Dennis, actually. I like to make him look comfortable and tell him I love him, Dad.
Well, that's nice to hear, James.
I don't actually do that, but, well, I don't actually love him there. But I did tell him earlier.
That you loved him?
Yeah, I tell him.
So you're a liar then?
I tell him once every event, Dad.
Well, it's time for the force-up here from TSM. Well, not exactly a force-up. They've gone with a bit of a half-buy here, so small investment. Looking for that shots, and Flusher, he's brought out the Stera Org. That is not a purchase you see every day. It's a bit more expensive. Actually, no, they actually reduced the cost, so it's actually about
Still
as
more
expensive.
I think it's
just
more.
a little bit more.
Anyway.
Either way, it is not a usual purchase, and the scope is actually going to be very nice in a round like this. Just watching over middle, you can see gave them the advantage for the initial frag. TSM, though, they've worked their way onto the bomb site, but really in this round, all they are looking for is that bomb plant, and they're very close to doing that. But Dennis is in a great position here to deny that. We have a few frags coming in for Fnatic, and they'll clean it up, and TSM will not be able to have success in their singular objective of planting the bomb.
For those of you interested in demos of these matches, they are available on HLTV afterwards. And it's definitely worth watching Flusher on Fnatic playing the middle area. It's really interesting on the CT side, so definitely pay attention to that. And indeed, the Org is not the most common of choices, but if he is going to be in situations where he's holding mid on his own, then that scope may come in handy. There are some awkward angles people can take on the T side when they get boosted. Scream is a good person to look at for that as well. He likes to take a little corner. And this is the passive angle that Flusher likes to hold here. And it can catch people off guard if they get boosted and start to move towards the vent position. Speaking of boosts.
Yeah, and JW is going to be put in that position there. So that's going to be quite nice because they can sort of leave JW there. The only real weakness of JW's position initially will be players pushing up the highway or the short area from middle. And of course, there's a lot of information, a lot of players that can safeguard JW against that. So generally speaking, it's going to be a pretty solid position for now. And so one thing to note with the Org as well is that it doesn't kill in one shot. If you connect a headshot, it's not going to get that kill immediately, which is a little bit annoying, but never mind. Fnatic just waiting now, and looks like TSM are ready to go for the push into A.
Legs being seen by JW though. Great angle by him. Manages... Oh, he doesn't manage to get out of there, actually. He will get taken down eventually by Semphis. So that's an open A bomb site. There's a flank coming in as well in the middle area. That's Cadian. And we could see Dennis getting caught out. He is waiting for the flank to come in, though, and he will indeed punish. Maybe the slow approach from TSM kind of gave the game away there. Well, it's going to be a 4 versus 1 now, as Semphis is the last man standing, trying to get the bomb down, but he's pushed too far, and he won't be able to do it. 3-0 to Fnatic.
Yeah, that is really nice. They're losing only one man. And see, we can see Flusher here showing his expertise with the orb. Again, almost never used, except that 1 week when there was an update, which made it godlike. But since then, almost never used. And we'll have to see how long he can use it and how much he's going to get away from it. Because now it's going to be an eco, so he might get a few frags. We'll have to see how the round will play out for TSM. And once again, it's a bit of a half-buy situation. Couple Deagles, couple PT50s, 1 Kevlar. So not really... It's a shame that we're not seeing utility here. It's like at least 1 flashbang or something to work with, to open up at least 1 area.
The Org is better against armor than the M4 is. And when it's scoped, then the accuracy is one of the highest in the game per bullet. But I think one of the main reasons that it's not used so much will be the spray pattern, really, which is, I think, a bit messier than the M4. Either way, indeed, TSM are going to be on the eco. Maybe we'll see that scope come in handy over towards the boost position. And I think this will be actually quite nice to burst players, as they have no armor, save for Sick. He's the only man with Kevlar at the moment. That HE is going to be very timely indeed. That's going to put Sick down to 5 HP. Flusher taking some damage, and he will have to stop peeking there. Or he should, but you never know with Fnatic. Crim's holding a very long line over towards B, which is why, while he's cornered himself, he can raise the alarm for his teammates. And of course, he is much better equipped than these players. JW getting taken down elsewhere, but a bomb still unlikely to get planted now. Olofmeister coming in for passive support there. Maybe TSM moving towards the side, thinking, okay, Crim's is stuck behind the box. No, Olofmeister just holding the off angle, and he will finish things off over towards B, and then is clearing out the middle area.
And this is the thing with Fnatic. You can see that, in the past, Fnatic always a very dominant team, very cool kind of loose play style. But when it when it calls for it, they can play very disciplined as well. And they know that there are rounds such as the previous one, where okay, we can get frags kind of easily. They don't have any Kevlar or anything like that. But even still, you can see Crims that he's going to wait for his teammate to flash him before he's going to face the guys with pistols. They will fall back if they get a little bit low, and they will lose as little players as possible. And they only lost 1 in 2 rounds, so they're building a massive bank, and that is very powerful going into the future. We'll have to see, though, with TSM on the buy now, whether they can open up the map with an advantage. We've got JW with a little bit of a push here, a bit of an aggression on the squeaky door. He's going to spot nothing, so some key information found there. And the Molotov into the vent will suggest the mid-take, which is currently underway. And Sick will also pick up the entry towards the white box.
This is a great situation for TSM. They've taken mid early as well, and obviously Flush has been picked off in the mid area. Then it has been forced to rotate closer to the A site. Again, he's holding a bit of an off angle there, while JW will have to take care of the rest of A for the time being. With the push that JW's made, actually, that's a lot of information for Fnatic, and he might have a read that nobody's in A main for TSM. So, what is the play here for the T side? The bomb's moving towards the vent, which would suggest B. There are 2 players per site at present. And indeed, Dennis has moved deeper because of their lack of knowledge in A main over towards A, so it will be a long rotation. Olofmeister spots a few players, but I'm not sure if the bomb's been seen yet. Crimzo should soon realize, oh, nade's coming in. He's only got 20 HP, and he's trying to waste time for his team to rotate. He's going to get taken down. So, 5 versus 3. Some players heavily tagged, though, for TSM, but Fnatic don't have many nades here for the retake.
So now it's going to be up to Fnatic to decide whether or not to use some of the bank that they've built. And it looks like they want to contain the opponents there, and that's going to be likely a decision brought on by the fact that they realize, okay, Olofmeister's low on health, and we'd rather just try to keep as strong economy as possible because the likelihood against 5 players is low. But what we can do is damage the economy of TSM as they try to escape the bomb radius. We can fire off those shots and get those engagements to kill them. And there's one. Dennis takes down Sick, but a trade into Dennis. Now, they don't want to lose anybody else here. The difference between saving 2 weapons in 1 is pretty huge on the following buy hit. So Olofmeister's going to run away there. Semphis is going to try to chase. I'm not sure if they'll be able to actually spot him in time. Looks like they won't. So Fnatic will bring 2 weapons into the next round.
And you can see TSM are quite scared with the bomb plant, staying very close to the bomb plant indeed. In fact, if you're full health, and you plant on the site, you can just stay in checkers. You don't even need to leave from there. Ironically, if you're running back towards T-spawn, you'll end up running closer to the bomb as well than you would be if you just stayed in checkers, depending on the timing, of course. So TSM get their first round on the board, but Fnatic have a fair amount of money in the bank, and they will go for the full buy once again. This will be an important round for TSM to win, as it won't leave Fnatic with much. We see a smoke being lined up there towards the B bomb site. Six taking a lot of damage there. Got to be careful he doesn't get wallbanged here by Olofmeister, but again, Olofmeister in mid, as I mentioned in the pistol round. He likes to walk straight through smokes, and he's doing exactly that. JW being aggressive once again, spotting Semphis, but no connection made there. Politely closes the door as well. Olofmeister gets punished for his push there by Sick.
JW has to fall back onto the bomb side with the AWP, but in the meantime, Automatic has slowly edged his way forwards, and perhaps the harassment can begin as TSM look like they want to try to take a movement towards the A site. There are two players there for Fnatic. Dennis is going close at the moment on the barrels. Let's see if he can get something out of this, because this is potentially a round-breaking position if it's not dealt with immediately. Dennis looking to get close to the door as well. He'll shut that one, making life a little bit more difficult there for TSM. They're going to have to open the door and create a sound queue now if they want to go in there. So every little bit of info helps here. And JW is close from Forklift with the AWP. Oh no, he's going to miss the first shot. That is a huge miss. Another miss from JW. Will he get an opportunity for more, as now Dennis will die? JW's just sitting there at the moment. They haven't spotted him. This is potentially very dangerous here for TSM, and that's why JW, springing forwards from the forklift, picks up the kill onto Semphis. But there is more to be had here as he holds his position. A strong foothold here on the bomb site, allowing his teammates to go close. JW still holding the angle. Oh, what is that from JW? Can't get the follow-up, but that was absolutely dirty stuff there with the AWP.
Yeah, TSM looking good at the moment. They had a flank coming in towards mid, but Flusher managed to stop that. JW holding a nice angle, which allows his teammates to concentrate on the site itself. Nice jumping frag there, but not enough. TSM get their next round on the board, and Fnatic are going for the force buy. They had enough money to get some guns out, and obviously they have the confidence and the skill to back up those guns, so we'll see what they can do. They've got a reasonable amount of smoke grenades, so they can try and slow down TSM as per usual, and try to use these guns to great advantage. Down to Famasto, our two players, and Flusher onto the scout. You can see him pressuring the mid area there, and Sick will be his counterpart for harassment on the other side. Again, we've got Automatic going over towards the squeaky door area. We've often seen him looking at the floor there. He will just be lining up a smoke. When he opens the door, there's an arrow on the box outside the door. Normally people aim at the top of an arrow, drop a smoke, which covers the quad area, which allows them to have better peeks towards team main. No one in team main, though, for TSM at the moment. 2 rounds behind Fnatic, maybe waiting for Fnatic to use some more of their grenades.
Yeah, it's likely we'll see a delayed mid take out of TSM, and from that delayed mid take, I mean, Fnatic, they won't know necessarily if they give mid all up exactly where the T's are going, and that's one of the strengths of it. But it looks like Olof wants to get a bit aggressive. He's going to move in just as the timing flash comes in from TSM. They'll be forcing him back a little bit, but do they want to challenge? We get another smoke coming out from Fnatic to block off the angle, although just partially, but just enough, it would seem, to allow Olofmeister to cross back into safety. So Fnatic is starting to feel some pressure towards B, but by no means just yet do they know that it's committed. And there is only 40 seconds left, so it's starting to be more and more likely that it's going to be this B play. Yeah,
but that time pressure will go back into Fnatic's favor. As we know, a lot of T sides, when they don't give themselves enough time with significant map control, have problems. And we see the bomb is rotating to A, and TSM don't really have any vision towards A main at the moment. Fortunately for them, there are 3 people still over towards B. JW takes on Automatic deep towards Highway, and that might give the game away here. JW taking down Semphis as well, so it's a man advantage here for the CTs. Is he willing to push around the smoke? Bomb planter means that there's only 2 people trying to fire at the moment. Bomb's down now, so it's down to the CTs to come in for the retake. Cadian trying to hold down the highway area. So far, so good. Crims gets taken. Runs out of bullets though, trades for both sides. Now it's down to the 2 versus 2. Olofmeister with the AWP, smokes on the site. TSM have been really good at re-smoking A to stop the push from coming in. Not much that Fnatic can do at the moment, and that clock continues to tick. Another re-smoke coming in from TSM, but there's a gap. Doesn't spot F and S, goes for the no-scope, but Sick is there with a pre-fire. Now it's Flusher alone versus 2. He doesn't have a kit either. It's just about damage at this point, as surely if they don't serve themselves up, then he can't win the round. And indeed, Flusher will make his exit and TSM creep to 3. Now again, an adjustment we've seen from TSM this week on Cash specifically is their T rounds towards the A site, and their post-plant smokes have been really important for them. And the smokes can be a problem if you don't use them correctly, because it allows the CTs to get closer, but they're completely smoking off that area towards the plant site, and it's working for them.
So where is the way back in? right now for TSM. Another buy, and they're starting to get a grip of things. Just have to secure this one to get that money rolling in. Now, with Fnatic broken so early, there is definitely a chance here for TSM to start getting more options and to start trying to mind game with Fnatic a little bit. Now Fnatic don't have so many buys to dig into to give them that security if they do lose a round. So, Canadian there, looking for that opening aggression, and it's not going to work out there, getting taken down by Flusher. The only man with an AK-47. Not a good way to start off this round, but it does tell the TSM side where the AK is for now. But if they don't make a move soon, Flusher can essentially move anywhere. So they, that can be essentially the issue. If you want to avoid him, you've got to go pretty much immediately on that information. But at this point, the information is not necessarily good anymore, as they've waited quite some time for another reaction, which just hasn't really happened from Fnatic. It's good and diligent play that they've removed the AK from play so that it cannot be picked up if they end up going towards the other sites. Leaving Finesse in position to catch any opponents. So far, so good here for TSM. It looks like they're about to make the move towards the A site.
Will they do it fast enough, though? TSM have loads of grenades. They've got loads of Molotovs, Dan, but they're all going through the door, which is somewhat worrying because it limits how much they can use their grenades here. There are only 2 CTs over towards A, however, and rotation is going to be quite long for Flusher to come in with the AK, but he's getting to the car position before the push comes in. Indeed, the Molotovs and smokes are being thrown, but they're still going to funnel out of the squeaky door, which is the problem. Now we've got JW and Dennis coming in. Dennis, I think he got 2 for 1 there. That's ridiculous. He's still alive as well. 4 versus 2. TSM with 15 seconds to kill 4 people and plant the bomb. FNS alone now, and it's all falling apart, Dan. With all the utility they had, why would you all go out of a funnel, Dan?
So, yeah, I've seen it time and time again, just a lack of routine out of an anti-force buy sort of strategy or anti-eco sort of a strategy, and that is just phenomenal stuff there from Dennis. Well, that is, I mean, there's not much you can do about that. That can happen, but at the same time, I mean, this is something that's always going to be affecting TSM. Is, yeah, you know, Cadian's in the lineup, and he's not as routine because he's having to stand in for a twist. He's the player that was too young to attend, so Cadian didn't get many practice games, like maybe 9, I think that he said to me, you know, coming into this into this week with his team, and you're going to suffer with a player that's got less routine in rounds like that.
To me, that just shows you some of the problems here with TSM. Why do they buy all those grenades if they're going to go through a squeaky door when they have a massive opening in A main where they can actually throw the grenades onto site? And again, it's a time issue as well. I don't know. It just makes things so hard for themselves sometimes. And again, Fnatic in a round they shouldn't win are straight back into things. But they're a man down. Olofmeister getting taken down by Sick, who's doing a fair job at the moment of neutralizing Olofmeister in the middle area, but there's still Flusher to deal with. Trades, though, he'll take 2, but get taken down by Automatic. 3 versus 3. Dennis, though, will change that. Crims going for an ill-timed push through the smoke, and it'll be advantage TSM 2 versus 1.
Yeah, big and strong reaction there. Immediately when Fnatic lost the play, they go straight back in for the refrags, and it's actually going to be working out here for TSM. They nailed the bomb plant, but will JW be the one to nail some TSM players to the wall with that AWP? He's going to be looking to go for this in this 1 versus 2. He doesn't have a kit, so he needs to definitely be somewhat rapid with this take. And here he is. He has some guesses, but he's got to be committed in his guesses. Perhaps trying to get that first frag before thinking about going for it, and it's not really giving itself up too easily to him. Although Finesse is going for a push right now. That could have been dangerous. That could have been the opening JW needed, but he's going to miss the flick shot, and he's going to be able. They're going to be able to actually frag him in this position as well. He's kind of locked down. He's got this AWP. They're definitely going to want to try to kill him. He's going to try to get out of there, but there's just no way to escape the bomb. It's the best that he can do is to try to deny the AWP, and I think that he did not do that. Finesse will pick up the AWP for TSM, and TSM will win another round there. So Fnatic actually losing some rounds here early on to TSM. That's going to feel really good for TSM because after what Fnatic showed yesterday, that could play into the minds of any player.
I think JW was trying to avoid the AWP getting into the hands of Semphis, but he hasn't succeeded in that regard. And indeed, Fnatic, maybe it's an indicator of the knowledge that they're a much stronger team than TSM. Going for the force buy once again. The orbs coming out. Dennis, though, is trapped at the moment, but he's just going to mean he's got more targets to find. There's a Molotov on either side. It's very limited, but he's got support coming in as well. Dennis goes down, so does Crims, with no answer. So 3-3, but the CZ is coming in, and it's on JW. And now we have Automatic with 1 HP. All of a sudden, TSM get torn to shreds. So these force buys working greatly for Fnatic. But they're strong force buys. Double orbs coming in. 1 player with no armor. But look at that, just fish in the barrel there, Dan.
Yeah, really good display from Dennis, and this is the problem. This is why Fnatic are always likely to win in any extended situation when it goes to 1 map or 3 maps, 5 maps. Fnatic, their skill and their superior decision-making and experience is something that's always just going to put them over the edge against a team like TSM, and this is another instance we see that, where one player explodes right at the start of the round, and then it's just so much space for the rest of the skilled players of Fnatic to get in there and make an easy hold of that B-bomb side. But we've got to push it, 3-man push coming in from Fnatic. They know that it's going to be a save round from TSM, so this is actually very ballsy stuff. This is Fnatic having some fun. This is something you probably wouldn't see them do against an Astralis or something, a team of that kind of caliber. JW with a quick pick through the smoke, and it's just a matter of time now until everyone on TSM dies with just P250s.
So you can see Flusher's got JW's angle, as long as he's careful and looks towards the forklift. Olofmeister going for the flank and getting taken down again, but still it's a strong advantage here for Fnatic. Dennis heavily tagged, and he's going to be looking for flanks himself. Bomb has gone down here for TSM, so the time is going to be precious for Fnatic as they come in for this retake. Got a few flashbangs and such. Got to try and smoke off some points there to make it harder for these Ts to hold. Molotov's coming down onto the site. There is a smoke there onto these CTs, as you can see there, but he's just going to patiently wait and hold on to that extra $300. So a 4-man retake here for Fnatic. Took some damage, but they survived. Only one person going down, so that's a plus. But it's good for TSM. They get a plant, and they're not too far behind on the rounds here versus Fnatic. They're still kind of almost keeping neck and neck, which is great.
Yeah, it's definitely a positive way to keep K4 to start off the best of 3. But Fnatic, they're starting to get back into this one, and with that double off setup, it's going to be interesting to see what TSM's interpretation is there. Again, it's a team which is even if you ignore the standing factor, it's a team that's only just recently started to put in more structure and started to get more drills and so on. Of course, this was one of their better maps. Obviously, that was on that CT side that was so good. So they're probably only looking to get around 6-7 rounds, and they'll be very, very content with that. And they're not too far away from that, so let's see if they can pull it off here. They're starting to put some aggression towards the A main area. It might just be a straight-up push here with no map control plays before that. And Fnatic, they have, well, they've got a nice setup, because I consider JW with an AWP a nice setup.
Right, so you can see they're discussing their own utility here on the TSM side. They've got one Molotov to come in for and execute here. And that's the problem with this smoke grenade towards the quad area. Something that the T's often pushes that. It makes it hard to actually take the site. So does JW. Gets traded though by FNS. Flusher coming in, but he can't do anything else. So it might be another trade of rounds here. TSM getting those smokes out once again. Those problem smokes. That's a nice plant as well towards that panel. They can defend that from short if they need to, but they're all on the site itself and main. But guess who? It's Dennis looking to come in for a flank here, but he's going to get smoked off, so he's going to just rotate completely and support his teammate on highway.
So this is kind of an interesting situation, actually, because this is very doable for Fnatic, but again, waiting for that repositioning to come in. Olofmeister switch for a more dynamic weapon. Only 13 bullets, gets nailed in the face. It is now Dennis pushing forwards to find the player remaining. Goes for the flick there, can't make it happen. It's Crims, though, taking down Sick, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Semphis there is going to be playing behind the smoke. Crims can't get it out of time, and it's going to be Semphis who nails that frag, and it's also another round for TSM. It's 5 now. It forces Fnatic into kind of a weird situation on the money. Crims has $6,400, but the rest of his teammates around 3K, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with this money. Looks like actually they're going to force it up after all because of Crims.
Why not?
And it was this initial defense, just nothing really going for Fnatic. 1 frag out of 2 players, JW and Flusher get just rolled over there. That's not something that can really happen, and that's enough of an advantage, and it's good to see TSM can play those advantages.
If that plant was more to the left along the wooden panels, then it would have been defendable from the highway position. But here we go. Fnatic have been unable to string rounds together beyond the pistol and the following 2. So we'll see if TSM can catch up yet more. But Olofmeister gets an early 2 kills there with a FAMAS when they have almost no grenades left. That is a monstrous start here for Fnatic.
Yeah, he should only be getting a single kill there. And it's going to be Sick and Automatic moving into the middle area now. They've got a lot to deal with, and Fnatic can play pretty passively if they want to, but they've got some good forward map control towards B and A, so they have a very good understanding of what's going on. Flank potential if they really want it as well. Go for the one-on-ones here, and it's actually going to favor TSM. They win both of those one-on-ones. That's exactly how they get back into this round. And it's going to be Automatic, though, losing the frag against Dennis, which will really turn the tide here. TSM have a much more difficult situation on their hands, but Sick is up to the challenge, taking down Dennis behind the box in A main. Now a 1 versus 2, although the bomb is lost. He's got time, though. He's going to be working on that bomb pickup here with the smoke, but it's Crims who sees through that play. Take him down, and a round goes to Fnatic.
8-5 at the moment, still not bad for TSM, and I think it's their score we're going to be keeping an eye on in this particular matchup on all the maps. So Fnatic back on the, well, they're going to have more grenades this time. But again, that was such a desperately needed 2K by Olofmeister early on in the beginning when they had maybe 3 grenades left and loads of time on the clock for TSM. TSM's turn to go for the force buy now. 1 AK and a bunch of pistols, and again, they seem to be headed towards that infamous squeaky door. But they don't have much in the name of utility. And it will allow them to get close to the site. There's nobody on the site itself. Again, when Fnatic read that their opponent has low money, they tend to play retake here on the A sites. We've seen it this week, and we're seeing it again here. The flashbang's coming in, Flusher starting things off well. Dennis with the high ground, and the bomb will indeed go down to TSM.
Yeah, it should be an easy retake here, though, for Fnatic. Just wait out the grenades a little bit. They got a bunch of kits as well for the 5-second defuse. CJW just edging his way in there, and without any grenades here from the T's, it's going to be difficult. And Sick gets a frag from the boost, but he's been spotted now. So they should be looking for this, and that is what happens. But the flank from Finesse, that's going to make things a little bit more complicated here for Fnatic, as they were all coming from the same spot. And Finesse can hold this down. There's a second frag, taking out Crims from up top. And oh, what is this? TSM going to be able to finish things off. Quick double there from Automatic at the end. And that should have been a straightforward retake, but instead, it's a 6-8 scoreline to TSM now that they win that round. And Fnatic don't really have much to invest in this one, and this is going to be the last one of the half, so there's a realistic opportunity for TSM to get 7 rounds on the T side, which was their weaker side from yesterday.
Exactly. They seem to have definitely been studying and improving, and they had put in work before this week had started as well, but now it seems they're improving over time, so let's see if they can take the last round. They're looking pretty damn good for it because there's no money left for Fnatic, down to the mere pistols now, 2 flashes and a HE. That is terrible, and Fnatic have done well with their force buys, but you can't expect this one to go the same way. Oh, the door being absolutely denied there. There is a bit of a crossfire, and Automatics maybe pushed too far because of the forklift quad position. JW goes down though. Flusher with another deagle kill here, so maybe problems. TSM going a bit too fast. High ground, low ground, it's a bit of a mess here. It's madness. There's a man advantage, but no rifles picked up by the Fnatic side. Dennis dancing around with low health, doesn't get the shot onto FNS. Things might calm down now for the T side. Olofmeister, though, has other ideas. KD getting shot straight in the face. Now it's FNS alone. Still no rifles picked up by the last 2 players. Where is Olofmeister, though? That's the question. FNS still has a minute to play with now. He doesn't need to try and risk a bomb plant anytime soon. He can try and figure out where Olofmeister is, try and figure out where all the dropped weapons are. He's got time to play with. Olofmeister biding his time as well, maybe waiting for that bomb plant to come in. But the longer FNS waits, the more places Olofmeister can come from. He could be making his way to Squeaky. Spotted now though, and FNS is down to 7 HP. And the HE will finish things off there. Nicely done. A desperate round for Fnatic. So many force buys won. I don't know how they could win that. I really think it was a big mistake at the start there, but maybe we can get into that in the second half.
TSM even lost the pistol round, and the fact that they lost so many anti-ecos, anti-force buys, that's ridiculous. But it is time for a break before we get into the second half, so we'll see you soon.
And we are back. So that was a very difficult half for both teams. Lots of force buys being won. It was a bit of a mess, but well, we have a close score, Dan, and TSM have lots of opportunity.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, Fnatic, you expect to see a strong T side out of them, and well, I mean, that could be their saving grace. It's impressive that we saw some really cool individual performances there from TSM, despite what appeared to be generally a lack of coordination in a lot of the rounds. Yet they still get 6, and we got some impressive plays here from Dennis, as we can see. He was able to actually really make some round-winning sort of little maneuvers there, especially with the pistols. We saw that pistol round, the Deagles as well, and with the AWP holding down B. Honestly, Fnatic didn't look really to show the form that we saw out of them yesterday, and if they can't pick up the slack moving into the next half, which we should expect as they move into a stronger side for themselves, then there is a worry here that they may drop a map to TSM. Yeah,
and I think TSM could have had even more rounds, but like that last round, I think Automatic just had a suicide run into the site. He saw JW close, he sees a play towards Forklift, but just runs into a crossfire with an AK-47 without his team in position. And that kind of thing TSM cannot afford to do, especially when they're going to be defending here in the second half.
Yeah, both teams onto their stronger halves here, so this will actually make for a very interesting second half, and already a lot of action. Olofmeister kicking things off with 2 frags, and that's going to be an open bomb site for Fnatic to get a free plant. This is a disaster because this is the hardest site to actually retake, and looks like KD is going to actually hold things down a little bit, force Fnatic to stay in the site.
Yeah, I like the attempt at the push there for Fnatic. That would have been a nice hold, an area to hold. That would have stopped the high ground here for FNS, but such is life. Kaden with a second frag of the round so far, down to the 3 versus 3 now. No kit on these remaining plays, which will give them a bit more time pressure. Smoked off as well, that will be a familiar feature. So, Kaden dueling for a surge, JW taking him down, no, but he can't take down FNS. Trades for both sides, leaving FNS alone. Where's the crossfire here for the T's? The second one coming in, but he's going away again. Crims now is in the front, and JW coming in from the back. Crims will get the frag though, and it is an extended lead here for Fnatic. That's a really big round for them. 4-round lead, and it looks good to be a 6-round lead, Dan, unless TSM can win a 4th.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy couple frags there from Olofmeister as well. I mean, out in the open, long range, 2 quick Glock frags, you rarely see them in that fashion. And that's going to be what really gives Fnatic this edge into this one. And this means that they've won both of the pistol rounds. And that's worth noting, because if TSM get a close score despite a Fnatic getting 2 pistol rounds on cash, that's actually quite impressive. And well, they're going to try to swing things back into their favor. They got this force buy going on right now, and they're going to play a bit of pressure into middle. And Fnatic, will they try to just fight this, or will they try to circumvent it and just hit a bomb site? Usually you'd expect a player like Flusher to go for that information, as he has the MAC-10, which makes him expendable.
Yeah, so the T's just making sure there's no pushes coming in from the CTs here. The initial smokes from the CTs does give them some opportunity to slow down the T's and go for said aggression. But no aggression just yet. And TSM, this is a very dangerous round here for Fnatic. There are lots of CZs in play, and they pop out of a corner with a flashbang. If somebody's close, that's a very easy spray down with those weapons. And they are reasonably good against armor as well, so Fnatic will have to be careful. Many Molotovs in play, and we can see here now this is a much better approach on a anti-force buy situation where they're throwing the Molotovs in, forcing the CTs from their positions, which makes it easier for them to take the site. Dennis looking close though for the smoke. There's a gap, and he's not going to win the duel there. JW coming in from high, and he's going to be exposed to 3 players. So far, not so good for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's going to be an abort, a big abort there from them as they switch bomb sites. And this is a problem as well, because TSM can easily pick up any of the weapons that would have been left on the floor, as there's no time for Fnatic to dilly-dally. They've got to get straight to that plant on the other side of the map, and Kaden gets attacked there, and there's a player to maybe get the trade, but it looks like Flusher will dart out of there, but maybe the damage has been done. He's got a MAC-10 at range, he can't get fast frags, he'll get eliminated straight away as Crims holds down the B storage area. Olofmeister's left on the side, not much support here. What can Crims do to help out Olofmeister, who's actually getting the frags at the moment? Still 2 players left though, very low health. Olofmeister with yet another one, he's alone, and he can't get it done. It's automatic, they will clutch the round with a scout. What a beautiful defense coming in from TSM, site to site, and TSM, they win a force buy. They're going to put Fnatic into economic shambles. It is very fortunate Fnatic picked up that bomb plant though.
Yeah, this is a huge round for TSM. Again, after winning the pistol, normally you win the following 2, but nobody can seem to defend from an eco or a force buy on this map so far, Dan. So TSM has opportunity, and that's terrible. Even with the plant, that's pretty bad for the Fnatic side. They're likely to go for an eco here. I mean, sometimes in a situation, you can see forces back and forth until somebody starts to win consistent rounds, but Fnatic may be starting to respect their opponent a bit more, going to wait to maybe try and get AKs in the next round. But what can they do on this one? There's not much in the name of utility or weapons here for Fnatic. They have 1 high explosive and 2 P250s. So any journey they choose to take is going to be a hard one.
Yeah, I love their approach, actually, because as you... Oh, okay, well, can't even get into any theory here. Olofmeister is going to be performing a full frontal lobotomy there onto Sick. He is gone. And now it's going to be Fnatic thinking, okay, we've got to kill a middle. There's a little bit of space to be worked there. Maybe some more angles to be found with this Deagle and Olofmeister. And by the way, he's the only guy that has a Deagle, the only gun that can one-shot people at range. So right now he's trying to be the can opener, and it looks like Automatic will be able to get something back there, taking out JW. So TSM calming things down a little bit, but there it is again. And this is starting to get very dangerous.
What is going on, Dan? What is going on, Dan? There's only 2 people left. He's deagling everyone. The one-shots are real. This is ridiculous. This is. Why can nobody win around with better weapons? This is absurd.
It's so
coming in now. There goes FNS. Cadian's the last man standing with the M4 versus 3. They've picked up an AK of FAMAS, and Olofmeister's on his 3K with his Deagle, Dan. This is ridiculous. 2 people left here, and Cadian's going to get wrecked as well. Deagles for everyone, Dan. It's like an Oprah Winfrey show.
Quad kill from Olofmeister. What the hell was that? Here is the first one of the round. And it seems like he started as he meant to go on. Getting 4 headshots, just so calm, so methodical. Just opening up the round in that way. In fact, not even opening the round, just winning, straight out winning the round. And that is brutal. I thought TSM were going to be off to an amazing start, but now they get shut down. Do they decide to just force it back here? It looks like they won't. They're just going to go for just a full save, pretty much, a few P250s, and that is it.
It's so bizarre as well. We talk about how in those situations, people will often force back and forward. Just the Deagle required, of course. It is Fnatic after all.
Deagle.
By the way, I'm the best player in the world. Thank you. Stack over towards the B bomb site here for the CTs. Fnatic did a good job, or at least they tried to do a good job, of determining where the stack is. Lost a few plays, rotated elsewhere. Didn't work out fantastically well, but we'll see if they can do the same. Again, we have Flusher lurking towards B with the Mac 10. This makes him expendable. He can be the man looking for the information. I like the angles TSM are holding. They're passive angles. They don't want to peek too early. They want them to get closer to the site before the bedlam begins. Flusher, though, will finally he will spot a bit of a waste there. Now he'll realize the stack is over towards B. He's gone down, but he's got very valuable information for the remainder of his team, who should be able to hold with the superior ranges. JW Closo could get overwhelmed, but no, he's got Dennis coming in. JW hungry for the frags. He cares not about economy. He just wants to kill. Cadian last man standing now.
Yeah, and that's basically all it takes most of the time. If you want to try to find a stack, this is one of the approaches. You get that guy with the clipboard and a Mac 10, and you run him into one of the bomb sites. And one of the easier bomb sites to actually do that kind of play on is actually B, because, as you can see, it's kind of easy to use grenades, as JW did, to eliminate the close positions. He threw a quick Molotov into the checkers position, had a smoke covering the close point into the entry point into the site. So then he gets into checkers, he can see the entire site, and he can do that all by himself. And then whatever information he sees, he tells his team. And that's one of the simplest ways to run an anti-force buy versus a stack. So if you're running a team, go note that round down, save the VOD, and learn.
Right then, we have a familiar story in that TSM have a buy, but they are very low on utility. Triple FAMAS coming out, not much in the name of grenades either. So in terms of counter flashes and such, it will be a problem. But Cadian getting a nice frag onto Dennis, and he's rotating the AWP elsewhere. So he's looking for TSM to be as dangerous as possible. They've abandoned the middle area for now, but there are ways they can hold it. They've got 3 people over towards A, so they can have somebody, they can have Cadian, for example, on the A site, holding an angle down highway, but he is indeed over towards B. We've got Sick holding a passive position, so despite the frag, there's limited information now here for TSM.
Yes, very limited indeed. But that's okay, because they have the man advantage, so they don't care as much about information as they don't have to deal with as many men. And Fnatic still making decisions. There's a minute left to play with. The bomb is still down. They're starting to get more forward presence towards the both sides of the map, but they don't have checkers yet. They don't have the A main area either, so some information is missing, but let's see what JW can find. He's going for that play up the highway area, but no one is peeking just yet. Not for quad, but it's Crims. He just moves outside the door, And that's a quick kill, a quick trade there. And Fnatic need to act on this quick play because the bomb is still down and it's now only 30 seconds to plant it.
Yes, a familiar story. We've seen it from TSM as well. Cadian on the site, causing more pressure. Sees Olaf Meisters back through the smoke as well. That's one of the 2 players remaining, which means we can have a good rotation coming in here from the CTs. JW trying to do what he can, but that clock is indeed ticking. The crossfire is massive as well. FNS coming in to support Cadian, who will get traded. So FNS will get traded, and Cadian will answer immediately. So TSM hold on with a difficult buy. And they steal a second AWP as well, which is fantastic for them. 2 AWPers on the team, and they're both carrying the big green gun. 4 rounds away from Fnatic.
Yeah, it's looking quite good for them actually at the moment. Fnatic are definitely having trouble with TSM, and this, I mean, they said it on the desk. TSM, they lost all their matches yesterday and the day before, but they all looked competitive, which was actually going against most people's expectation. So let's see if TSM can actually get a bit of an upset here. They've got some momentum. Let's see if they can defend here. Fast push coming in from Fnatic towards the B-bomb site. Lots of counter grenades to slow them down. Finesse there, able to not get anything, it seems, as JW launches himself over the top of the crate, and now Cadian is trying to get some shots in, but there's smoke everywhere. He can't see anything. This is a great entry from Fnatic, and all of a sudden, Olafmeister is going to send players flying from the connector position. So now TSM have to worry about the bomb site and their flank. Olafmeister comes in for seconds, and Cadian is still looking for it. Did he spot him? No, not in time. Olafmeister gets the shot, and now the retake effort has been completely destroyed. Just 2 players left. That's all they could do to survive.
The luxury of the numbers game. Olafmeister flanking from Connect side and going all the way to A and flanking from the car as well. He tore this team apart just when TSM were looking to catch up again. Both teams trading rounds. Really hard for us to see some consistency in the rounds being won here. The most in a while has been 2 rounds in a row. There were 3 early on in the first half, but other than that, both teams finding it difficult. But as they continue to trade rounds, it's Fnatic who looks to get to 16 first. Automatic still hunting with that UMP. I mean, why not? The nade coming in as well. There's an AK on the floor for him to collect, and he will do that. So TSM takes something into the next round, but what they're not taking is a closer deficit. Indeed, it will grow 5 rounds away now from Fnatic, and their money is ruined.
Yeah, you should expect Fnatic to win this round because they should be the team that can run good anti-force buys and anti-eco strategies. We saw that already from them, so looks like TSM will be taking a timeout to see what they can do in this run now, because what they recognize is in this round, their money's not really good enough to buy. Sure, 1 player saved an AK, but they can't load out the entire team. So they likely have only 1 really good chance in this matchup now against Fnatic, because Fnatic will quickly be on 14 rounds, unless, of course, they decide to buy. Because
of the problems with winning rounds consistently as well, their loss bonus is now in the doldrums. So FNS would have had $50 at the end of that round, getting 1,400 loss bonus. So even next round, their money's not going to be spectacular. They will be limited once again on grenades. But we've seen how many force buys and how many unideal buys have been won so far. So maybe they can do it. But easier said than done, especially with Olafmeister flanking you from 2 different places at once there.
Oh yeah, they've been really on top of things, have Fnatic, when it comes to setting up flanks and not keeping the plays too kind of 2-dimensional, and always adding an extra dimension there and making sure that they can get extra surprising edges in the rounds. And now it's going to be, I think, it actually looks like we're going to see TSM going for it. And I mean, I actually like this decision because with the save that you have there from the AK of the previous round onto automatic, you got this spot where you can have more chances to get back in this instead of just banking on 1 chance, which is what they would be doing if they would save. So we have now a TSM with a plan, but on the CT side, James, it's super hard to get plays going. If you're on the T side, you can be like, we can run this strategy and this tactic, we can like force rotations and then capitalize here or there. On the TCT side, generally, it's very hard to do that kind of thing. Yeah, we've seen consistent squeaky pushes from Fnatic on their side. You can go for B plays as well, but A, they're dangerous, and B, if they're wrong, then it's probably GG's on the first map of this best of 3. The second one will be Mirage between these 2 teams. The first 2 maps very open indeed. And the unpause has come in, so we are soon to resume again. We've got Semphis at the bottom of the scoreboard here for TSM. And he's a man who's normally at the top down, but then they are normally playing weaker opposition in North America. So now they're up against the tougher test from Europe. Things don't seem to be going too well. Yeah, and Fnatic have to expect something out of TSM. They've got to expect some sort of aggression. It would be surprising to see Fnatic play a really fast round, but maybe they will play a really fast round just to try to despite TSM and any efforts they may have or plans they may have had early on, and it looks like that could be the case here, because right now Fnatic are setting up for a super fast play into the A bomb site.
That would be a retake situation for TSM. Only FNS is there, but he's going to make his way onto the site and try and hold things down. He may have to die on his sword here. We'll have to find out if that's going to be favorable to his team. Dennis jumping down from the boost position, going to get sprayed. FNS still alive, that's the bomb down, almost a two-man spray down, and indeed, he's wasting time now. He's a problem for his opponents as the rest of his team comes in. Spots a player towards the squeaky door as well, but still no frags. Just trying to dance around, try and be a nuisance, and allow his teammates to open things up here. But we've got smokes flying in from the CTs, from the T side, which will be a problem. Automatic there with 2 frags. JW and Dennis going down, and now FNS makes himself known once again. Flusher versus 4. How much damage can he do here? He's got a bit of money in the bank, but indeed, it's a crucial win here for TSM.
Yeah, they
4 AKs picked up.
Exactly, they pick up 4 AKs out of that, or well, 3 additional AKs out of that. That's pretty nuts. That's pretty crazy. He survived so many players, and a lot of it is because of Finesse. He caused so many issues here. Oh, that is a very sick flick there. Not sick. But yeah, Finesse, you really got to credit him with really good play from the core position. Sure, Fnatic were too slow there. That was their sin. They were too slow onto the push. They couldn't clear stuff in time, which allowed TSM to rotate everybody to defend before the bomb goes down. But Finesse, he wasted so much time. He got key kills and good grenades from his teammates. But either way, we moved into the next buy here for both teams, and it's the fast aggression into mid that's going to have Xemphis opening things up, but there's a trade, and Fnatic look better off of this.
Yeah, they've got loads of time on the clock. I think we might have CT switching and smoke here. Automatic coming down from highway, and Sick will trade. That's a bomb as well in a very exposed position. And they don't have the personnel to help take it back. Fnatic in a 2 versus 3 situation, both on the site as well. I'm not sure if TSM have identified that. Maybe Cadian has, because he's still on the site, trying to dance around, but he's limited to the pistol at close range. Sick's going to trade though, so again, the trade's working for the CTs here, but they are expensive rounds and they are yet to win the round, and it's none other than Olofmeister. Mr. Omnipresence left here for the Fnatic side. The smoke's down in the short area, but he's got time to wait for that smoke to disappear. And it seems he may choose to relocate, and that will cause problems for TSM because of that smoke. They don't have vision. He could be going towards the car position. He could be going towards T warehouse into mid. He could stay on the A bomb site. So those are 3 places, and they've only got 2 people to cover with.
Here he goes. Oh, easy frag. You say he's got omnipresence. Will he be omnipotent in this round? No, he's going to be denied by Finesse. Again, Finesse is going to keep his team in this. And that is really cool to see. Again, Finesse, he was a player that got cut from COG before COG kind of made a rise, or a pretty significant rise in their level. And then he was kind of floating around for a while, and now he's found himself on TSM, and people have tended to, brand him, for those, for the fact that he was a guy, the odd man out, the guy that got cut and so on. But he's showing that he's made some improvements and he's able to hold his own against Fnatic in some of these situations. And it's created a 13-10 scoreline. So Fnatic, they're going with a bit of half-buy here now to try to remedy things.
23 rounds, and Xemphis has only got 9 kills. He's going to have to show up at some point this week, otherwise his team may not be able to make this comeback. And it seems to be a fast split coming in from the T side, but Cadian is in position with the MP9. 2 nice spray downs for him. Going to make some nice money as well. Pop flash is coming through, and a pistol. Cadian's going huge for his team here. He was up in the statistics for TSM so far this week, and he's trying to continue it. The knife's coming out, the blade stand, but JW will win that one. 3 versus 2, make that 1. JW still got the bomb. He's got the MP9 as well. He's got opportunity to get himself some bonus money for his team, but Xemphis is coming in for the rotation. And he may get there before the cross can happen. Indeed he will, but again, he's only got 9 kills on the board, Dan, so does the team have faith in him to make this? He's not even looking at the cross, and the bomb is going to go down for free.
Yeah, and that's the best case scenario that JW can get from this. He's already, from his mind, he's already done all he can. With an MP9 against those ranges, you don't really expect to do anything. So JW is able to salvage just a little bit of respect for the team there. Give them some more options with the extra $800 each with the bomb plant. Now, will Fnatic be able to take it over the line, though? Because now it's really starting to seem like TSM are looking pretty focused and confident. I mean, Fnatic's not really intimidating them in at least this match of cash. And Fnatic, they need to save one. So if TSM if they just don't lose against Pistols, James, they should be okay. They'll be in a pretty good position.
Yeah, the money was okay for some plays, but not all here for Fnatic. And again, this is another map where TSM are racking up double figures, but can they take it over the line this time? Fnatic will give them a bit of a chance, but Fnatic with full armor, Tech 9s and grenades. That is not a good look here for TSM. No Deagle onto Olofmeister, which may save TSM's flushes. We'll have to see. Aggression coming in from the CT side. And FNS from this position could get some sound cues, but Fnatic will try to keep quiet for the time being. They don't really have anybody in a lurker position towards B, but B is being held passively. TSM seem to have a nice read as to what the current situation is. So let's see how long Fnatic choose to do it with. Olofmeister coming in for the flank here, and Cadian's going to get taken down. Indeed he is. There are smokes that might save the graces of some others, but they're all falling apart on the A site. Sick and FNS coming in for the rotation.
Yeah, pistols always problematic, and now there's guns picked up, rifles. Olofmeister's on it, oh, but he's down. Finesse with another frag. Can he do it again? Can he save his team? That's a really good nade, and it's going to combine there with Sick to take down JW. Now it's on Flusher by the door, and looks like they know where he is. Flusher has a lot of work to do right now. It's the first engagement. He wins it against Finesse. Oh, he's going for the hold, though, and that's the defuse. Sick. It's going to even take the frag through the door. And TSM, I mean, sure, it should not have been that close, but they make the clutch to win the round, to post the result on the board, and that's a 12-13 scoreline now. So things are getting very, very close, and it's very scary as well for Fnatic, because what would happen to Fnatic if they get a map taken away from them by TSM?
Tech 9's always dangerous, especially when you know how to use grenades to get on the site. That's going to be a problem for TSM, but now we have grenades and AKs here for Fnatic, but TSM are just one round away. One round behind. We might see a wall of smokes coming in here in the middle area for Fnatic, which is going to deny TSM information. Whether Fnatic choose to move into mid or not, there's nobody close in mid for TSM, so they may abandon. And that's going to give a minute and a half for Fnatic to split a site if they want to. You can see where the bomb is on the minimap, so they've already in position to do so. Sick choosing to try and hold on to things here. There's a bit of a gap in the smoke, and damage is being done here to the T side. Semphis holding a bit of a passive angle, making sure nobody's moving into the vent. He can spot some heads there if he holds that angle. You'll hear the shots being fired by Flusher. And Olofmeister makes it up while Semphis isn't looking, so he may not realize that somebody's in the vent, but a gunshot gives it away. Could be a fake coming in here from Fnatic, but where will TSM put the CTs? We've still got 3 people over towards A. Semphis moving towards B in case support is required, but Olofmeister is not in B no longer.
Here it goes, the push comes in, Crims is straight in there now, and the challenge through the forklift, very, very crucial frag by Automatic. Now he can wrap behind, but Crims is going to take him down immediately. And so many people dying here on the A-bomb site. Crims is trying to tap away an extra one, but it's going to be JW that finishes it off with the grenade, and now it's just on to Semphis and Cadian to save the situation. The bomb ticking away precariously now as Crims picks up a frag onto Semphis, and Cadian will start to make his way in, but without any friends, and with an AWP as well, it would be the most awkward of retakes, and he realizes that this is not going to happen with the AWP, so he's just going to try to hold. His position is thus unknown. So maybe, with the element of surprise, someone is going to walk into his crosshair, so he can at least pull out one frag, but TSM will certainly lose this round.
He needs to run. He needs to run, because I think Olofmeister will see him first. No, maybe he won't. So Cadian's got his frag, but he needs to get out of there. They cannot afford to lose this AWP. 14-13 the score will be.
I always like it when players stick around to get that first one-on-one as well, because then it slows down that hunting process a little bit. But yeah, that kill there on Automatic by Crims was so important. Otherwise, Automatic probably wins the round because he gets the flank on 2 players. So some really pivotal stuff there. And 2 rounds away now, TSM. And they have not the best buy in the world.
Yeah, the CZ's coming out once more. But again, Dan, I'm struggling to remember an eco or force buy that hasn't been won by each team, save for where Fnatic went for double eco very recently. It's been a very difficult map for both teams. It seems that TSM are going to put the forces in one area for the most part. Maybe we're going to see a boost coming in. It seems likely, indeed, that is the case. Flush is looking for it, though, but Semphis can bide his time for now. There's one player on the A site. If he spots some action, then there may be some pushes from the CTs, but there we go. 2 down very early on, so this could be game point for Fnatic.
Yeah, they're moving in, and Olofmeister's going to drop here. He may have missed a player, though. I mean, we got Finesse in a very key position. If he's able to get a fast frag, looks like he's spotted now. Nice headshot made by the CZ, but immediately traded, and it's now just, again, Cadian, and this time it's even worse. He's against 4 players, and he's going to have to try to save this, and it's going to be a lot more difficult. He's going to try to play in front of the smoke. This is really smart from Cadian, actually. If he gets the frag, pulls back through the smoke, he's definitely done a lot of work there. He's not hitting his shots, and he falls back into 3 players. So Cadian will finally lose the AWP, and Fnatic now move to game point. Life getting a little bit easier for them, but definitely some scary rounds here.
Yeah, now the money's been ruined for TSM. The fourth buy is coming through. Pistols and a Soul UMP here for the CT side. Are we going to see some aggression? Are we going to see Fnatic start with passive angles to try and catch any aggression? It's all to play for here, but Fnatic are far more tooled up. Even if they lose this one, they're going to have another buy coming in, so the pressure is almost at max here for TSM. What is their setup? They've got 3 people headed towards B bomb site for the time being. Semphis getting tagged down to almost nothing immediately. Flames coming in as well. And the HEs, goodbye Semphis.
Yeah, and it's going to be a quick reaction coming in from the CT's TSM, trying to get a refrag in there, but it's not really working out. And now it's going to be Flusher just moving into the checker's position. He's going to get some good angles onto this side. He might be able to spot Sick, but actually Sick is going to actually go straight through the smoke with a flash, and he finds nobody just yet. What is going on here? Sick might be able to get something done if he catches Olofmeister off guard. That is going to be a fantastic situation. But he's got a really good read there onto Flusher. Takes Flusher down. Again, Olofmeister on his flank, but he's so weak. Can he get that shot? No, Olof is faster than Sick in this situation. And it all rests on automatic. Here he is with the Deagle. Olofmeister could do it, but this is looking impossible. The jumping AK, and that is it. Fnatic 16, TSM 12.
That is a very scary first map here for the favourites Fnatic. TSM did wonder if they could do it. So many trades of rounds between both teams. We will see what Richard & Co.